For generations, Australia stood as a land filled with opportunity, built on hard work, strong communities, and shared values. Immigrants arrived with optimism, eager to contribute and build a better life. But in recent years, something has changed. The cost of living has gone up tremendously, home ownership feels out of reach, and wages haven't kept up. Families feel the pressure, with many struggling to balance work and rising expenses. In 2024, more than 200,000 people left Australia, searching for a better future elsewhere. Whether for financial relief or simply the promise of an easier life, the trend is clear: more people than ever are saying goodbye. At the same time, social and political shifts have left many feeling disconnected, and many believe government policies are making life harder, not easier. Many feel isolated, overwhelmed by financial stress, or frustrated with the direction the country is taking. Like and subscribe, as in this video we are looking at the reasons why people are leaving Australia in big numbers. 1. Cost of living and housing affordability. The cost of living in Australia has spiraled out of control, and people are feeling it in their wallets every single day. Groceries are more expensive than ever, power bills are through the roof, and the price of petrol is making even short trips costly. Everything is going up, except wages. People who once lived comfortably on a middle-class income are now struggling to cover the basics. Families are cutting back on things they never had to think twice about before, like eating out, family outings, and even basic household expenses. Housing is even worse. Owning a home used to be an achievable goal for most Australians. Now, it's a distant dream for many. House prices have surged so high in major cities that even those with decent jobs can't afford to buy. Renting isn't much better. The rental market is completely out of control, with prices skyrocketing and vacancies at record lows. Mortgage holders who thought they had financial security are now seeing their repayments go up thanks to rising interest rates. Many are stuck, unable to sell, unable to afford their payments, and barely holding on. Some are deciding that leaving the country is the only way to get ahead financially, choosing destinations where housing is more affordable, and everyday costs aren't so punishing. 2. Job opportunities and economic conditions. For decades, Australia was seen as a place where hard work paid off. That's no longer the case for many people. Wages have barely moved while living costs have exploded, meaning even those with jobs are struggling to get ahead. Many industries that once provided stable, well-paying jobs have been gutted, and what's left is a mix of insecure casual work, contract jobs, and positions that don't pay enough to support a family. Tradespeople, farmers, and skilled workers who once had plenty of opportunities are now dealing with rising costs, government red tape, and shrinking job prospects. Small business owners are being crushed under regulations and taxes, while large corporations move jobs offshore or bring in cheaper foreign labor. Workers are competing with a growing population, but there aren't enough good jobs to go around. Meanwhile, highly skilled Australians, doctors, engineers, and IT professionals, are realizing they can earn more and pay less tax in other countries. Instead of struggling with Australia's high cost of living, they're moving overseas for higher salaries, better working conditions, and lower taxes. It's a brain drain that's only getting worse as talented workers see no future for themselves here. 3. Mental health challenges and social isolation. The pressure to keep up in Australia is taking a serious toll on people's mental health. The stress of high living costs, job insecurity, and long working hours is leaving many Australians feeling exhausted and burned out. Anxiety and depression are at record highs, but getting help isn't easy. Public mental health services are overstretched, private therapy is expensive, and long wait times mean many people simply suffer in silence. Social isolation is also becoming a major issue. The sense of community that once defined Australian life is fading, replaced by a more disconnected and individualistic culture. Neighbors don't know each other like they used to, and family connections are being strained as parents work longer hours to keep up with bills. Even friendships are suffering, as people have less time and energy to spend with loved ones. Many who are leaving say they're looking for a simpler, less stressful life. They want to live somewhere where work-life balance is taken seriously, where communities are stronger, and where they don't feel constantly overwhelmed. Countries that offer a slower pace of life, lower living costs, and a stronger sense of belonging are becoming more appealing. 4. Work-life balance and lifestyle changes. Australia's reputation as a laid-back country is fading fast. People are working longer hours, dealing with worse traffic, and struggling to find time for themselves. A good work-life balance is becoming harder to achieve, as employers demand more, wages stagnate, and costs keep rising. Commuting is a nightmare in major cities, with traffic congestion at an all-time high and public transport unreliable. Even simple things, going to the beach, taking a weekend trip, or enjoying a night out, have become expensive and stressful. The lifestyle that once made Australia unique is being eroded by high prices, overcrowding, and the sheer exhaustion of trying to keep up. Many people leaving Australia are searching for a better balance, places where they can work reasonable hours, afford to enjoy their free time, and escape the endless cycle of stress. Whether it's moving to smaller, less crowded countries or places where the cost of living is lower, they're choosing to leave behind a lifestyle that no longer offers the freedom and relaxation it once did. 5. Healthcare system and wait times. Australia's healthcare system is under immense strain. Public hospitals are overcrowded, wait times for specialists are growing longer, and many people can't afford private health insurance. Getting a doctor's appointment can take weeks, and if you need surgery or specialist care, you could be waiting months or even years. Medicare used to be one of the best healthcare systems in the world, but now it's struggling to keep up with demand. Bulk billing is disappearing, meaning more people are paying out of pocket for basic care. Rural and regional areas are especially hard hit, with doctor shortages leaving communities without proper medical support. For families with young children, elderly relatives, or chronic health conditions, this is a serious problem. Some Australians are choosing to leave for countries where healthcare is more accessible, affordable, and efficient. Instead of waiting in long queues and paying ever-rising costs, they're finding better care overseas. 6. Education cost and quality. Australia used to have a strong education system, but today, many parents are questioning whether their children are getting the quality of education they deserve. Public schools are underfunded and overcrowded, while private school fees are skyrocketing, making it harder for families to afford good education options. Even with high taxes, many parents feel they're not getting value for money. University education is also becoming a financial burden. HECS help debts are growing larger, with interest piling up faster than many graduates can pay them off. Meanwhile, degrees don't guarantee good jobs anymore. Many university graduates are struggling to find well-paying employment, often ending up in jobs that don't even require a degree. The return on investment for higher education is shrinking, making many question whether it's worth it at all. Families who want better education opportunities for their children are looking elsewhere. Countries like the US, Canada, and parts of Europe offer more competitive and often more affordable education options. Some Australians are moving abroad to access better schools and universities without the overwhelming costs and declining quality they see at home. 7. Climate, weather, and natural disasters. Australia has always had a harsh climate, but in recent years, extreme weather events have made life even tougher. The country is experiencing longer, hotter summers, more severe droughts, and unpredictable weather patterns. Bushfires are becoming more frequent and devastating, destroying homes and entire communities. Floods have caused massive damage in parts of the country, while storms and cyclones continue to wreak havoc. These natural disasters aren't just inconvenient, they're expensive. Insurance costs have gone through the roof, and some people in disaster-prone areas are struggling to even get coverage. Rebuilding after floods and fires is a long and costly process, and many feel like they're constantly living under the threat of losing everything. For some, the extreme weather is simply too much. They're choosing to leave Australia for countries with more stable climates, where they don't have to worry about losing their home to a bushfire or flood every few years. Even those who love Australia's natural beauty are finding it harder to justify staying when the risks keep increasing. 8. Visa and immigration challenges. Australia used to be known as a welcoming country, but immigration policies have become more complicated and frustrating for many. Skilled workers who want to stay in the country face long, expensive visa processes with no guarantee of success. Meanwhile, those who have lived in Australia for years, working, paying taxes, and building a life, often struggle to secure permanent residency or citizenship. For Australians with foreign spouses, bringing family members over has become an expensive and drawn-out process. Some are waiting years for visa approvals, dealing with endless paperwork, and facing high costs just to reunite with loved ones. At the same time, while skilled workers struggle with visa bureaucracy, Australia's immigration policies continue to allow high levels of migration, putting pressure on infrastructure, housing, and job availability. Some Australians feel that the system is unfair. Working-class people who contribute to society find it difficult to stay, while policies continue to favor high immigration numbers overall. Frustrated by the process, many skilled workers and families are choosing to leave for countries where immigration systems are clearer, faster, and more supportive of those who genuinely want to contribute. 9. Government policies and taxation. Many Australians feel that government policies are making life harder, not easier. High taxes, excessive regulation, and constant government overreach are driving people away. Australia has one of the highest personal income tax rates in the world, with a significant portion of earnings disappearing into government coffers. For middle-class workers, business owners, and professionals, the tax burden is overwhelming. At the same time, people feel they're not getting value for their tax dollars. Roads are congested, hospitals are overwhelmed, and essential services are underfunded. Small businesses are buried under red tape, making it harder for people to be self-employed or start their own ventures. Many believe that government spending is wasteful, with too much money going to bureaucracy instead of solving real problems. Property taxes, stamp duties, and rising council rates are making homeownership even more expensive. Business owners are dealing with excessive corporate taxes and regulations that make it harder to compete with international markets. Instead of supporting economic growth, many feel the government is focused on collecting more revenue while giving less in return. For Australians who want to keep more of what they earn and enjoy greater economic freedom, moving to lower tax countries is an obvious choice. Places like Singapore, the US, and parts of Europe offer better financial incentives for skilled workers and entrepreneurs, making them attractive alternatives to Australia's high-tax, high-cost system. 10. Social and cultural changes. Australia's culture has changed significantly over the past few decades, and not everyone is happy with the direction it's heading. Many people feel that traditional values, like hard work, personal responsibility, and community spirit, are being eroded. The strong, independent, and fair-minded Australia of the past feels like it's disappearing, replaced by increasing bureaucracy, social division, and a culture of entitlement. Crime rates are rising in some areas, with many Australians feeling less safe in their own communities. The cost of living crisis has led to an increase in theft and antisocial behavior, while law enforcement seems unable or unwilling to address the problem effectively. Many people feel that there is too much political correctness and not enough focus on real issues like jobs, safety, and national identity. The Australia that once united people under common values and a shared sense of belonging is becoming more fragmented. People feel they have to be careful about what they say, where they go, and how they live their lives. Instead of feeling proud of their country, many Australians feel frustrated and alienated. For some, leaving Australia is about finding a place where they feel more at home, somewhere with stronger communities, traditional values, and a sense of national pride that they feel is fading here.